You know what's crazy? I got off the dating apps and I've never felt so happy than I do now. Like, that's the best advice that I can give anybody. Get off the dating apps and just live your life and stop looking for love. Just be living your best life. So after I came back from Bali in September, I decided to go back on the dating apps and I'm like, okay, I got really great pictures from Bali. I'm gonna meet my match. I'm gonna just show the world who I am. I'm refreshed. I'm, energized. I have a really positive outlook on life. And I just kept meeting really mid men. Like, they were just not asking me any questions, talking a bunch about themselves, the typical jokes you see on this app. Or some people were taking like 2 to 3 business days to like answer a simple question about how their day was. And then I went on with like one date and I was like, if they call me, cool. If not, I'm good. And that was it. And like, I spoke to a couple people on the apps and I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done. But this time when I got off the apps, I did something different and I told myself, we're not going to think of a time when you will be back on the apps and back actively dating. You're just gonna stop. And this was a different approach because I've taken breaks from dating and I focused on my life, but then I would think in the interim, like, hey, I'm gonna take this break, but when I get back to dating, this is what I'm gonna do differently. And like, I'm not doing that this time. I'm like, I'm done. If somebody wants to, date me, get at me. I'm right here. They can talk to me in the wild. And what I've done really is just focus on the things that I love to do. And I've done this before, but when you really decenter men, when you actively stop dating, it makes such a difference. And I just want women to understand that, like, if you're in a situation right now where you're frustrated and you're single and all this stuff, you really just need to look at your life and say, like, what is it that I can do to make myself happy right now? What is it that I can do to stop thinking about when I'll be partnered and when I'm with this person, this is what we're going to do? And that's when I realized that all of those times that I've taken breaks from dating, I didn't necessarily decenter men because I always in my mind thought, when I get back out there, I'm going to be doing X. When I get back out there, I'm going to look for this when I'm talking to that person. So what I've been doing now is just really focusing on like getting into a hobby. And the hobby that I got into was jogging. I really love jogging, y'all. In fact, I joined a 5K that I'm going to be doing in April. I'm really excited about it. And I'm tracking all of my jogs on the Nike Run app. Was it the Nike Run Club? I've joined a run club. I'm potentially joining another run club, but I'm also just really focusing on my progress. I've been cooking plant-based meals. I've been thinking about future trips and gatherings with friends. And I'm doing all of this while fully decentering men. I'm not thinking about the time when I will meet that partner or I'm going to do this so when I meet my partner, I will be X. And that's the stark difference. I'm not thinking about being partnered. And I think from my past, when I've taken breaks, that's been getting in the way of who I am and what I really wanted to center in my life. And 2024 was pretty hard for me because I did break up with my boyfriend who was a pathological liar. That's a whole different story that I will have to explain. Hopefully this app will have more of a life of 270 extra days after the 19th. But if not, I'll probably have to post that story on YouTube. But I will be 36 next week and I'm not sad. And when I first decided to completely go cold turkey on the apps and go cold turkey on pursuing love, I was really depressed. Like, I was thinking like, wow, I'm not pursuing any candidates. I'm not going on dates. I'm not doing the work to get me closer to my future partner. But then I realized, like, after some time, I'm realizing that my life is just so beautiful and I love it and I'm having more fun than I've ever had in my life. I feel so much better than I've ever felt in my entire life. And it's just that shift of really decentering men and really centering myself and really doing that. I think we're always told to take time to be by ourselves. But what does that mean, Because if you're by yourself, you could still be thinking of an ex. You can still be thinking of a future partner that you've made up in your head, or like a honeymoon that you've made up in your head, or your future wedding that you've made up in your head, all while being single. Like, this is something that women do. And then, unfortunately, we can make things that aren't necessarily the best situation with another person happen because we have that idea set in our mind. But I implore you to decenter men. Even if you're in a relationship, focus on yourself. And if you're single, you are in the best situation. You have the best opportunity to really focus on you, to really do what you want to do. Find a hobby, join a club, join a group. And I know it's hard because there's a lot of rhetoric out there that just seems like whatever, right? It doesn't seem super understanding. And I understand the yearn to want romance. But when I tell you, when you fully disengage from centering men, you just see yourself so much more clear, and you just fall in love with your life so much more. And you're not relying on something or someone to fill that void for you, because you're discovering all of these amazing parts of yourself. You're having fun with the activity that you want to do with yourself. It could be jogging, it could be riding a bike, it could be painting, it could be arts and crafts. But having this moment alone is a gift. So if you're alone, and if you're not alone, please just remember, decentering men is such a big deal. And it's not about hating men or hating dating or anything. It's just about really focusing on you, because our society does not teach women to do that. It teaches us to always yearn when we don't have it. And when we do have it, to always think about how we can do different things to keep it. That's such a distraction from getting connected to yourself.